I just promoted her to
Thank
panelist. Doing
thank you,
it
Andy.
again. There we go.
Okay, Andy, we are live on the YouTube. Is there any other commissioners that we need to elevate? I know we have a potential absence from Commissioner Osler in 5D04, and Commissioner Roblin will be attending late for 5D03.
I don't see anybody else at the moment.
Okay,
I'll keep an eye out.
thank you. Okay, so with that being said, it's 7:02 p.m. Thank you so much for everyone joining us tonight. This is ANC 5D's monthly public meeting. We are meeting today on September 9th, 2025, after our recess in August. I hope everyone's summer um, gave those an opportunity to find a break, given everything happening right now in the city. But even in the chaos, we can always find a moment for ourselves. And if you can't, I'm praying for you. With that being said, I'd like to start with the roll call for our commission tonight. Let me just make sure I have my agenda available as I have one screen. Um, Before I call to order the meeting at 7:03 p.m., I will like to announce that there is a public notice that there is a vacancy for the single member district of Union Market. Union Market currently does not have an ANC commissioner. As the chair of ANC 5D, anything involving Union Market can be directed to my attention, and we'll go ahead and assist accordingly. So, with that being said, it's 7:03 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order by starting with roll call. 5D01 is vacant. 5D02.
Present.
5D03, Commissioner Roblin is appearing late. 5D04, Commissioner Hostler is sick. 5D05, I am present, Northern Trinidad. 5D06.
Present. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, cool.
5D07.
Present.
5D08. Absent. And 5D09.
Here.
Thank you. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ANCs present in tonight's meeting. We have quorum, so that means any actions that we vote on today can be passed. With that being said, the first action we'll take as a commission will be the adoption of tonight's agenda. I know we have some potential amendments to tonight's agenda. Are there any commissioners that would like to present their amendments first?
Yes. Can I add a slight change to the agenda? I have on there right now the opposition to the PUD, but I wanted to change that resolution to make it a little bit more clear where 5D sits with this, and I sent it around to all commissioners, but I just want to make that update, if that's cool.
Is the update the actual resolution or removal of the item?
Yes. Removal of the item and to add removal of the current item on the agenda and to add the resolution that it's basically to change the document that's attached.
Okay, so we don't need to change the agenda since the item is the matter at hand is still the same. So I'll just ask to ensure that the actual link on the agenda is updated. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we don't need to make an amendment there. I will make a few amendments if there's no other commissioners that want to make amendments.
Did we take the Office of Planning off the agenda? Okay.
So I move that we remove the Office of Planning from tonight's agenda as they need more time to present to the public. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor of the removal of the item from tonight's agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposition? Any abstentions? Okay, may the minutes reflect that we removed the Office of Planning from tonight's agenda. I will like to add 2 items to the agenda, one for our consent calendar and one for our voting action items, if available. One is to hire a webmaster. The item is under the consent calendar as a potential addition. I would like to propose that ANC 5D does hire a webmaster. Given the times in need of information directly for our residents, I think it's time to hire a professional for this exact need and make that available to the public based on what the proposal states. We can discuss further in the consent calendar item portion of the agenda tonight. As well as add a potential BZA matter being presented by Meredith Moldenhauer regarding a BZA matter in 5D02, which due to oversight, we forgot to add to a vote as a voting action item. So with that being said, I move that we add a proposal to hire a webmaster to our consent calendar and BZA matter 21342 to voting action items on tonight's agenda. Can I get a second to this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McCray, I believe. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Commissioner Rhodes, for the minutes, did we get your aye? I don't know if you were muted.
Yes, you got my eye.
Okay, thank you. May the minutes reflect that that amendment and change to the agenda was passed. Okay. Are there any other changes needed to tonight's agenda, commissioners? Okay.
Quick
Oh,
question.
Yes.
And I guess this is more of a question regarding party status. For the particular resolution I'm going to bring up, Commissioner Rhodes, I wanted to move to have you represent the commission for that particular case for the opposition to the Zoning Commission 2411. Would you be okay with that?
Sure, I would. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, then that's perfect. So is that something I need to add at this portion, or should I just add it later on? I'll add it now. I'll just say I'm moving
you can add it now.
Okay. I move to add Commissioner Rhodes to submit the party status application for our opposition to the Zoning Commission 2411.
Can Commissioner McCray get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it. That motion carries. Commissioner Hosler, are you there? Hosler.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. May the minutes reflect that Commissioner Hosler has joined the meeting at 7:09 p.m.
Thanks. I got here a few minutes ago, but I was
Ah.
stuck in maybe a different Zoom name. And so maybe 3 minutes ago, due to my family sickness and delay. Thanks.
Oh, no, you're not in trouble for being late. I just wanted to make sure the minutes reflect that you're here.
Didn't know how precise we're being.
And sorry, one more update request. Sorry, I didn't realize it at the time. I forgot about the request to approve. Never mind. I'll say it during the treasurer's report. No problem.
Oh, okay, got it. Moving along with tonight's agenda at 7:10 p.m. We have the adoption of the minutes, and these are minutes from July. As you all recall at the beginning of this meeting, I referenced that we were in recess in August. So these are adoption of the July meeting minutes. Are there any questions from the commissioners before I place a motion on the floor to adopt the meeting minutes as presented? Okay, with that being said, I move that we adopt July's meeting minutes as shared with the public 7 days in advance of tonight's meeting. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? And any abstentions? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you, commissioners. Moving forward, we have our treasurer's report. So Commissioner Cray, you have the lead.
All right. Sounds good. So good evening, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. All right. And let me know when you all can see it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. So during the month of August, we had a beginning balance of $57,241.70. This month's expenditures, well, last month's expenditures were spent on Verizon Fios communications, the May and June admin assistant work and social media project work as well, Trinidad Day grant funds, and we had a stop check fee. We had a stop check fee due to a bank discrepancy, but also we had a deposit from that. So the stop check fee totaled $30, and we also were reimbursed that $30 due to a bank error. So during the month of August, we spent $6,292.95, and we have had an ending balance of $50,948.75. So as of today, we have not spent any funds in September yet. So we have the same beginning and ending balance, if that makes sense. This month's expenditures will likely be with Verizon Fios and the completion of the mural project that is in Trinidad right now. But in terms of that, for that portion of it, that is kind of where we stand money-wise right now. I'll pause just to see if there's any questions.
Commissioner McCray, outside of what was referenced for September, are we expecting any other expenses outside of what we're approving today?
Outside of what we're approving today, we'll probably have an expense for Canva. Canva offered a 30-day trial in the beginning before we purchased Canva, so that expenditure will hit in September. Other than that, unless the historian project is completed during the month of September, that would likely be the only other expense besides some of the onesie twosie items that we have approved in the past, like the pet lace receptacles, kind of some of the track receptacle stuff along those lines. So things in that nature that we have approved during prior meetings could come up if that we have already approved, but beyond that, no.
Got it. Commissioner Hostler, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. It again, I guess I always caveat this, I'm relatively new. I'm curious, and this maybe is more of a community of the whole conversation, but I'll put it here for the record. What is our typical spend rate, and given this trajectory, how do we look for the rest of the year? Recognize we don't want to we don't want to overspend, obviously. We also don't want to let money sitting unused if we have it for assets of the community. So I'm curious if there's projections on that, and if there's any thoughts on that. Thanks.
Gotcha. So our expenditures for the year have not passed our overall budget. So the previous commission prior to me passed the prior year for this current fiscal year budget. So the budget cycle runs, October 1 through September 30. So prior commission approved the budget. That budgeted amount that was approved was for the total of, hold tight, let me pull it up. But there is a prior year budgeted amount. Give me 1 second while I pull that up. So the prior year budgeted amount that the previous commission approved that we are operating off of is to spend in the ballpark of $23,400. We had a balance forward of $8,000 of last year. So it may make more sense if I share my screen, so hold tight. So the portal that I'm about to share is the actual quarterly financial report portal. And this is the previous year's quarterly financial report that was approved. So we receive a district allotment of this amount. This is the balance that was carried forward from FY 2024. So that totals our available funds for this year of the $69,000. We approved in the previous prior year budget $23,400 that we would spend, so that would get us at an ending balance of this year at about $46,000. We have, and I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna clarify. There are some line items in our budget from the prior year that we have surpassed, just given that we had an admin hired and a social media hired. That was not previously accounted for in the prior year budget. So because of that, some of the line items itself may be overspent, but our actual budget in our bank account has not been surpassed. So our budgeted amount might be overspent, which we can reprogram those funds, but our bank account is not overspent, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. Can I do a half? I see Commissioner Rhodes has her hand up. One clarifying question on that. I'm mostly used to working with nonprofit context where we need to, have some money in the bank for emergencies. Is there a sort of set assumption of how much we should have sitting in the bank, or could we theoretically budget out and spend down the money that's sitting there in the coming year?
We theoretically could spend out that money. I would say from a budgetary and fiscal standpoint, knowing that the budget isn't always guaranteed, especially for ANCs, and it does fluctuate. I would say it wouldn't behoove us to do that. But theoretically, in a theoretical standpoint, we could spend the entire amount that we get allotted every year. We could spend that entire amount. And ideally, that is the amount that, folks that are living in our single member districts, those are tax dollars that are theirs, right? This isn't money that necessarily we should hold on to per se, right? Like, we should always have some change in the bank, but it is money that is meant to be spent in the community, for the community, and by the community.
Great, that's helpful. We can pin that conversation for later. I don't want to take too much time now. Thanks. But
No,
that's
you're
helpful,
fine. You're
helpful,
fine.
helpful framing.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Thanks, Commissioner McCray, for giving us those details, and it is for the community, and I appreciate you clarifying that. The business cards, are we going to talk about those at some point, or is that part of the report, or are we
That purchase is, I'm sorry to cut you off, Commissioner. That purchase is on the consent calendar.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's budgeted at 185.
Okay.
Any other questions about this treasurer's report? Okay. With that being said,
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure that's even noted here, but just to note, I previously had a former commissioner send the debit card to me and some keys, and so I handed it off to Commissioner Salvador to hand it. So I don't know if that needs to be noted, but flagging that
No,
since
fine.
it's treasurer related.
We got new cards and new key.
And I was delinquent in handing it over to Commissioner McCray, so that's why I got handed off because it kept getting delayed.
You're fine. You're fine. So as we were discussing some of the items specifically towards our budget, I did want to make a motion to approve any of the budget expenditures in the consent calendar that will be approved. Now, not all items in there have to be approved at this time because that is what the agenda is for. We will meet that at around 9 o'clock. But I do want to make a motion to approve any budget expenditure that's approved in the consent calendar, specifically tonight. Since we're going, as Commissioner McCray has stated, over budget on some of our allotted budget items. Not that we don't have the funds for it, we just did not approve or essentially expect the need for some of these items, given the climate that we're in right now. There was a push and need for more information being shared with the public, which all in all requires us to spend some money to make sure that this information is being shared effectively with our constituents and our residents. So I do want to make I will move that we approve budget expenditures in tonight's consent calendar as approved later by the commission tonight. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Real quick.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. Discussion?
Yes. During that process later on, I just want to flag that if we could reprogram some of the funds so when we end the fiscal year, we're kind of in lockstep with where we say we're going to be. So I'm just going to suggest we move some funding around on our budgetary line items so that it incorporates these kind of deltas that we have. So we can talk about that a little bit more later when we go through kind of those consent calendar items.
Perfect. Motion was second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner McCollum had to step away, so.
Okay. Commissioner Hoso, did you, sorry, those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, the ayes carry, motion passes. Okay, moving forward, we have our committee reports. Are any committee chairs available to share a report on their committee today?
For environmental justice, I don't have anything. I just want folks to continue to clean up and report any illegal dumping.
Okay.
And real quick, if I could just add in for, I know Commissioner Roblin is not here right now, but I just want to flag there are a lot of upcoming cleanups. There's one upcoming this Sunday actually, September 14th at 19th and I Street. So if you come out, come join us for a cleanup. There's also another cleanup that I'll be hosting from the former CVS parking lot. We'll leave from there, and that'll be on Saturday, September 20th. And there are a few other cleanups sprinkled in here and there, and I'll drop all of those in the chat shortly.
What time is the one on Sunday?
I want to say it's at 9:30. Hold tight. The one on Sunday, the 14th, is at 9:30 at 19th and I Street.
Oh, Lord. Okay. For zoning, we do have some zoning matters coming up for the remainder of the year. If there's anyone on today's meeting, on today's Zoom, that has a BZA matter coming up that's requiring a vote and you have not reached out to us, please do so immediately. We have a process to get votes on the agenda. We expect you all to join us during our zoning committee meetings, which are the third Thursdays of the month, as well as our COW meetings to directly speak with the commissioners before we take a vote with the public the following meeting. And we always request that every single BZA matter does involve community engagement. If your project does not have any community engagement or have receipts to prove that there's been discussions or engagement with the community, we cannot move forward with those steps that I just previously mentioned. So with that being said, I'll just use the rest of the time for zoning for today's BZA matter with Ms. Moldenhauer. Okay. That looks like it's all for our committee reports. We'll allow 3 minutes for each commissioner to give a report on their single member district if needed. As I mentioned, 5D01 is vacant. Commissioner Hector Arbuckle resigned as commissioner, and the position is currently vacant. 5D01 covers Union Market, Gallaudet University. If you are interested in the position, please look at the Board of Elections website for the vacancy and the information on how to fill the vacancy. I believe one person has filed to fill the vacancy, but feel free to look at the Board of Elections website as that has the best information to find out who and what. So with that being said, I'll move the time to now 5D02 in Ivy City.
Thanks. Commissioner Hosler, I think wanted to say something real quick. Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks.
I'll send a note about it. Thanks.
Okay. Again, please report any illegal dumping. Also, this month, actually, it's the 10th or the 11th is Cromel Saint Day. We plan on having an event to celebrate Alexander Cromel the end of this month. I will be getting the notice out so everyone can participate. I'm working to have that event at the Cromel site. And on the Cromel site, they said that we're going to have, DPR said that we're going to have our last community meeting this fall, and construction will begin next year. So that's a plus, and we're hoping that everything stay on schedule. Also, with a lot of we're trying to get DBH and DHS together along with some other agencies because we understand that there's a human need in our community. So I don't know. Once we get all the resources together, then a lot of things that's happening in our community, hopefully we'll just get it under control and get some services to the folks that need the services. I believe that's all I have for right now. But thanks for that time.
Thank you, Commissioner. 5D03, is Commissioner Roblin still unavailable? Just making sure. 5D04.
Yes, thank you. Good to be back. We had a fair amount of travel this summer, so I feel like I was not overly present, but there was a block party just about a half block from my residence on September or August 17th rather. And the reports are that it went well. The sort of the negative side of that is that Jabo's compact market closed just before then. We had very limited notification of that. We heard from a neighbor who heard that it was closing in like 3 hours, and so my family quick ran up and made a few quick purchases to support, and also kind of said goodbye. But that is a downside in the neighborhood or in MASMD. Other than that, I don't have a lot to report.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm 5D05, Northern Trinidad. We had an interesting summer. We didn't have any serious homicides or shootings this summer, so that's outside of what occurred in late May, early June. That's pretty good for my single member district. I do thank God that we didn't see much blood as we usually have been seeing these last few years. As what we saw also in Ivy City, Northern Trinidad did see an influx of federal agents, particularly going to hotspots in the area. Outside of that, as Commissioner Hostler mentioned, we did have some community engagement with our block parties and our mural commemoration. If you're on the Zoom, feel free to drop a 1 if you've seen the mural, and feel free to drop a 7 if you like the mural at 1216 Mount Olivet Road. The muralist, he is still not finished with the mural. He still needs to add some beautiful faces on the mural, so he's working on that. But I am very, very, very happy with the work being done so far on that space. The whole premise was to change the energy, pretty much change the energy on that part of the neighborhood, and from going to seeing bodies on the ground to smiling faces around. That's a blessing. I'm very happy. I'm just very happy. And again, thank you to my colleagues for passing that proposal for us to get that done, because it's really changed up the energy and the feeling there off of Mount Olivet. And if there's any opportunities that residents know of where we can continue to get funding to beautify that space even more with more murals or what have you, please, please, please chime in. Any opportunity we can do to just change the energy in the space, I'm here for it. I'm here to support you in that. So let's continue to do that work. Outside of that, please expect some cleanups coming up with in Northern Trinidad. The next one I believe that we have set, they're going to be on Sundays. The next one's set for the 22nd. That'll be at 12:30 p.m. We'll be meeting at Capitol Avenue and starting there. And expect to clean up in Northern Trinidad every other Sunday until it starts getting cold in late November before Thanksgiving. But please be on the lookout for a flyer to get swept through Trinidad. Once we do finish the mural, we had a lot of interest to do another celebration to celebrate the final product of the mural. So we're coordinating something in the near future. Please expect something potentially on the 26th or the 3rd of October. But I'll be flyering the whole neighborhood again, like I did for the Trinidad Day weekend flyers that maybe some of y'all saw on off the sidewalks. For Trinidad and our neighbors, Ivy City, Carver Langston, y'all are welcome to join us too, to take a neighborhood photo in front of the mural itself. So just post up, just give us a minute of your time, and we're gonna take a huge, huge, huge neighborhood photo in front of the mural. I'm gonna coordinate with MPD to help us just stop traffic for 5 minutes to get that done. So I'm really excited about that, just to showcase our neighborhoods. And an update on our historian project. Mr. Jeremiah Montague has been working really well to get more history research done on some of the areas. He's pretty much going back he's going back at least between the last 2 to 3 centuries. And I'm really excited for some of the information that he's going to share at our next public meeting. And we'll eventually make sure it's available directly on our website. So please be on the lookout for the product of the history project that we've been requesting. And if there's any direct needs needed, you know how to reach me. My email is right there on next to my name, or feel free to reach me at 202-826-7807. Thank you so much. 5D06.
Hey everyone, can everyone hear me? All right. So it's Char McCray, ANC 5D06, Trinidad Carver Langston. It's been quite a busy summer. We have thus far done a walk with DDOT, and in the month of August, we had a neighborhood blitz that was led through Councilmember Parker's team. I know there are a lot of issues that have still not been addressed, and we're working to fix those, particularly the ones related to DPW and to the Department of Buildings. So I am definitely aware, and trust me, I am staying on top of them. If you are a resident that wants to be CC'd on those emails so you can consistently send pictures, please let me know, just so that we can stay on top of those items. There's been a lot of illegal dumping issues that I've been trying to address just throughout different pockets of 5D06. So stay tuned for more on those items. And I've been doing a few trash cleanups throughout the month. Look forward to more of those as we get into September, October, and until it gets cold as well. But if you have any concerns, feel free to reach out to me. I'll drop my contact information in the chat, and I'm available. So you can reach out to me, social media, email, whichever works best for you. All right, on to the next.
Thank you. Is Commissioner McCollum still available? If not, we'll go to Commissioner G. Campbell.
Hello, everyone. When I was working with Commissioner Roblin, I teamed up with her. We did clean up. So we have a couple of more events. I most likely might join Sunday, and we doing cleanup where I'm at. But that's it, trying to stop the illegal dumping and then getting the city to come out to get the trash on time. But that's about it. But working on the cleaning of the city and our neighborhood. So that's what I've been working on with Commissioner Roblin. And I think Commissioner Shaw, she was out of town, so I think I'll see you this weekend or whatever. But yeah, that's what we all trying to do together. So I'm participating in that and also making sure that we're doing cleanup in the alleys on 19th Street and even with Commissioner McCullough's side, because it's like directly across from my house. So we try to keep all that stuff clean too. So that's what we're doing. But right now, that's about it. We ain't had no shooting on my side or anything like that. I haven't seen the military or nothing. So we've been doing okay on this end right here. So no violent things going on, but just doing a little bit of cleanup. That's
Thank
it.
you. Look at that. Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner.
All right.
Okay, those are our reports. We have standing presentations. Is there anyone here from the 5th District today? Feel free to use the raise hand
I
feature.
I just promoted Lieutenant Otero.
Perfect. Can you promote
On it.
Adriana and
Yep.
Kristen Mario? Thank you.
I was just doing it.
Lieutenant, how you doing? You're muted if you
How you all doing tonight? Good evening.
Good. Thank you for joining us tonight. I know we haven't spoke with the 5th District since July, so a lot has definitely happened since then.
Oh yes.
I will respect the time that you have and that we have to not bog you down with too many questions that a lot of our residents can get from other organizations or groups right now, particularly the federal occupation. But we still want to know what exactly has been going on in our neighborhoods. If you've seen any improvements or anything that we should be aware of. So I'll let you take the floor from here.
Yeah. So first, I just want to introduce you Sergeant Nugent, Patrick Nugent. He's now a Sergeant 506 Sergeant. So I think if any of you guys were forward or I reply on the emails, I CC him just in case you guys have any questions or any point of contact when it comes down to notifications or requests. You can send it to all three of us, Captain Simic, myself, Sergeant Nugent. We communicate very well. So then we don't miss any information just in case there are any requests. But beside that, I know a lot of people are concerned about this federal takeover. I'll tell you this, when it comes down to MPD, I know the health of our officers has improved a lot because not only because of the short of staffing, but the officers were getting held over a lot. So this has been kind of like a release for them. At the same time, they feel like they're more empowered. They've been assisting the federal agents, been assisting us, and we can actually see the improvement when it comes down to crime. It is from heaven down to hell. It's huge. The changes that have been taking place in 5D when it comes down to crime, especially on that of 506, Ivy City and Trinidad. So far we're not getting complaints from the federal takeover, the agents or MPD. We had a few questions when it comes down to checkpoints. And I just want to make clarification for MPD. Checkpoints per se per MPD policy, they are not authorized unless we have some kind of exigent circumstances. Like, for example, we have an Amber Alert, we're looking for a suspect, which is a felon, then we may conduct a checkpoint just to check that this person in that specific area is not going anywhere or will not get away with. When it comes down to now working with the federal agencies, these checkpoints are run mainly by them, which means we don't have any say on we can't do this or not. But as long as we are under federal take cover, this issue about the checkpoints technically it's not longer a problem when it comes down to department policy because it's not being conducted or run mainly by MPD. Beside that, again, I haven't get any complaints. I've seen we've been making the arrangement with them, DPW, and other agencies from DC when it comes down to clean up, like specifically the alley behind the shelter, New York Avenue, which is being a problem. I went there like 3 or 4 times within maybe 2 weeks because of the complaints and the issues that we were having. Most of the, I will say that the stuff that they're actually collecting in the alley, it's left over that were placed on the sidewalk for the I believe it's the is it Goodwill there? There's a Goodwill there, so they were taking all this like furnitures and clothing and other stuff that were supposed to be donated, but to the Goodwill, they were taking that across the street and taking it to the alley, and they were just hanging out and collect pretty much what's supposed to be something useful for people that need it. Now it's technically just trash in a spot to hang out for them. I believe that's been taken care of. Now I've been week and a half out because I was on leave. So I got back. I haven't been able to drive by lately. I think I will do that tomorrow. Besides that, I don't know if Sarah Nugent has something else.
No, not at this point. I overheard the mention of the mural. The mural does look great. Just to introduce myself, I've been on the department for going on 13 years now. I was right across the street in the first district, so I know the fifth district well. I know the Trinidad area very well, and am out and about very frequently. I'm not someone that likes to sit behind a desk, so if you do see me driving around, yell, get my attention. I'll be happy to talk, chat with you guys about anything, any concerns, just so that you can actually shake a hand and meet someone in person. I personally, I understand the need for the Zoom stuff. I just thoroughly enjoy being able to communicate in an in-person basis so that you can better read and feel that person's personality. I will say that my officers that I do have that are specifically I'll speak to on this particular shift, our evening shift, are some of the best in the city. I am very confident in them. They handle themselves very professionally and will continue to do so. I was thrilled when I got the purview of the Trinidad area because it is one of my favorite areas that I came to know well over the course of my time floating back and forth between the fifth district and the first district. So thanks for having me. Thanks for allowing me to be on the call. And if you haven't seen the emails that have gone out, my email address is on there. Feel free at any point in time to reach out to me. Like I said, I'm here. Evenings are our busiest times. I am here Sunday through Wednesday in the office, out on the street, and my officers are very responsive to what we need to get done. We can make sure that happens. So don't be a stranger. I'm out there all the time. Typically, if you see Cruiser 505, that's usually me. In and around the area. So just if you do see me, and if you see the guy with the Captain America tattoo on his forearm, that's me. So so that you're aware who I am.
Thank you, Sergeant. Were there any questions from the commissioners?
Yes,
Go ahead, Commissioner Rhodes.
I have a couple of questions. Lieutenant Arturo, um, thanks for your report. And but I do have a question about the checkpoints. There was a couple of checkpoints on New York Avenue, and were those the was that from the feds or was that a collaboration of all of the agencies? And or who authorized those checkpoints? Because it was actually two, might have been more than two.
Yeah, it's been a field thing. I actually had to go through two of them on my way out. But this is, remember that when we are on a federal takeover, we are under the Department of Justice. So they make decisions. We're still following our department policies, but when it comes down for this type of checkpoints, this is already coordinated by the federal agencies running down to our chain of command. Technically, I don't we don't actually say we're not going to participate. We're not going to do this because it's someone higher than us, which is already taking over the department who makes those decisions. Who specifically made that decision? I mean, it will be impossible for me to give you that information because I'm not part of the federal task force. All we have from the district side is we get fed information from the commander, from the captains. Okay, this is what's going to happen today, and then we just adapt to what they're doing. Because usually they have their own lieutenant from MPD. Like here is Lieutenant Devlin, Joseph Devlin. He's attached to the federal task force. So whatever they're doing, usually he communicate well with us about that. And when it comes down to checkpoints, I don't think he got any saying about that neither. It's more like, hey, this is what they have tonight. So they relay that information to us.
And I also called and spoke with, I believe it was Captain Finetti, but I wanted to have some coverage between 8 and 8:30 because we have folks that are doing drugs and but we have the children that are going to school and we want them to be protected before they
Where's
get
that?
to uh well in Ivy City. Like
Eight
if
eight
they're
8:30 in the morning.
between 8 and 8:30. Before they get to safe passage, they need some type of coverage. And we have some groups here in the community that are doing a lot of things that children shouldn't be seeing before they go to school.
Do you have a
So,
specific location where they hang out? Because I know Ivy City, it's not really that big, but we want, if we want to do something, we want to attack straight the source and not just have an officer just running around entire Ivy City when I know that if they're hanging out in specific spots, then I can have that officer just patrolling or giving special attention to those specific spots instead of like just going all around Ivy City.
well, if we can have some coverage at Lewis Crow Park, where the children are going across through Lewis Crow Park to get to Kip on Bladensburg Road, well, up Bladensburg Road, and then coverage for the high schoolers that's going to Kip on Brentwood Road. If we can get some coverage in those two areas where children from the community are headed towards that direction. I believe Safe Passage is on Mount Olivet, but we want to make sure that there's some coverage before they get to Safe Passage.
Okay, have you seen any MPD present around in the mornings or not?
Well, I've seen them driving, but not during that particular time. And there's a lot that's going on in the morning.
So we are aware about that, and we have a few
Yeah.
officers giving special attention. If you see them driving, technically that's the instructions to be given to them. We cannot
Okay.
have any stationary one specific spot. The
Hmm.
one thing I can tell you is remember that when we are providing special attention, it will depend on what is going on at that point in the district. So we have priority assignments that requires more than two officers to respond there because it's either an assault or fight in progress or a critical incident such as like a shooting, a homicide. Last week we have a kidnapping. So that requires a substantial amount of staffing for us to deploy to that specific area. So of course, if we have any special attention, those units will have to leave that specific area to go and handle that. So if you see an officer driving by, that's good. We don't want the officer to be stationary because they start on their phones or they're doing this or iPad. So we don't want that because that is just proving that you're not doing anything proactive. We want like keep it moving, do your job the way you're supposed to be, and also if you're gonna be stationary, get out of the cruiser and engage with the community. But I will address that with the lieutenants and captain from the morning shift, and have the sergeants aware about the issue that we're having. I think we already addressed this, but I will need to talk then to the captain from morning and the lieutenants as well, if this is being handled or not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hostler?
Thank you. I fully recognizing the comments around where the decisions are being made. I feel in this public space it's important to note that the concern and displeasure with the cooperation with the federal takeover. And so, again, recognizing that that's kind of a decision at a different level, it also feels important to note that this is something that has created significant fear and concern. And so, note that, and you can comment or not comment. Thanks.
Thank you for the comment, Commissioner. Was there any other questions from the commissioners? I do have one item I wanted to address to MPD. In PSA 506, particularly off of Montello Avenue, there is a vacant property that used to be a halfway house pretty much for folks. This is at 1659 Montello Avenue. It's a vacant property. The neighbors there are having issues with the squatters that are coming in and out of the property. Frankly, we have squatters practically on every single block in their neighborhoods in the district, but I only elevate concerns with squatters when they're acting out of turn, when they're not being neighborly, when they're, causing issues with trash or drugs. We've had a huge in and out problem with squatters, particularly in this property, and the neighbors next door are very concerned. As we know, during the colder season, we see more squatters tend to stay in some of these buildings. We've had we had a few fires in 5D this year because of squatters, and I just want to bring it up to MPD's attention to see if that space is still secured or not. We have a lot of illegal dumping happening right at the rear of this property. So it's definitely a hotbed for criminal activity. And if we can get it to the sergeant's attention for 506, we really appreciate it just to keep an eye on this specific property.
Do you have a specific time when it's more active?
I can get that information to confirm. I know during the day is when the neighbors are noticing them come in and out. But I can get more information on that.
Yes, please. And I think you still have my cell phone. I got the watch tomorrow too, and I'll be until Friday. I got Saturday and Sunday. I'll be on drill with the Army. But if you can get that information to me before the weekend, so then I can distribute that and maybe take care of that.
Perfect. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Yep.
Any other questions, commissioners? Items? Okay, gentlemen, I think that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Also, thank you. You all have a blessed day. Enjoy your night.
Be safe.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, with that being said, we're moving forward with the meeting. We have the mayor's office. Do we have Christian available today?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect.
All right. Good evening. My name is Christian with the mayor's office. I apologize for my camera being off. I'm actually not feeling too well today, but definitely wanted to make sure that we had some representation here. So I'll start off with addressing the mayor's order for the beautiful Emergency Operations Center. So on Tuesday, September 2nd, Mayor Bowser signed a mayor's order to create the Safe and Beautiful Emergency Operations Center. We understand that there has been some confusion about the contents of this order, so here are some of the facts. Preserving home rule is our North Star. This is what guides every single decision Mayor Bowser makes. Federal law enforcement presence was here before the federal surge, and it will be here after. We have a long history of working with our federal agency partners on a wide range of law enforcement and other shared priorities. As a result of this, as a result of this declared emergency, our relationship with the federal government has changed forever. This operation center aims to face this reality. We have to change the way we communicate with our federal government and work with them too. When federal agencies have DC specific priorities, we need to be able to share our needs, share what our needs are too. And also, contrary to the misleading headline that the Washington Post published and later retracted, Mayor Bowser's order does not welcome this federal surge. It does the exact opposite. It sets up an operations framework to exit this period and shows we do not need the president requesting any MPD services. In relation to the surge, the federal surge does end on September 10th. After this date, the president must gain approval from Congress to extend it. However, this request is subject to a filibuster. Earlier in August, President Trump tried to illegally seize control of MPD and install an emergency police chief. The district sued the federal government, and the court affirmed that Mayor Bowser and Chief Pamela Smith remain in charge of MPD, not the president. There are some concerns about why MPD is assisting law enforcement agencies such as ICE in their work despite our local laws. And here's why. The Home Rule Act, which is a federal law passed by Congress, mandates that when a president declares an emergency in the district, the mayor is obligated to fulfill requests the president makes of MPD for a federal purpose. Um, DC is not a state. We do not have 10th Amendment sovereignty, which is extended to 50 states. So our response will be different and limited compared to other states and cities, which share some of our same values. We will not achieve full autonomy and control until we're granted statehood. In terms of DGS, an unsheltered count was held on Thursday, August 28th, which counted unsheltered residents to track the impacts from federal law enforcement surge. The census was only for count and did not include interviews or collection of personal information. Results of the census show there are 764 unsheltered individuals in DC, 81 people in 54 tents, and 683 unsheltered individuals of unsure status. As far as the expansion of city services during this surge to address this, um, during the federal surge, DC has accelerated outreach to connect residents to services and housing, including DC funding 35 outreach workers. During the surge, workers have operated under extended outreach hours, including weekends and late nights. And shelter capacity in DC can be adjusted based on demand. Since the start of the federal surge, over 80 additional residents have accepted shelter. We currently have over 1,200 low barrier shelter beds online with beds still available. More than 100 low barrier shelter beds were added in August, with the new shelter additions during September. The district will also operate roughly 300 non congregate shelter beds. For DCPS, on Saturday, September 13th, there will be a back to school party. Chancellor Fairby will attend DCPS back to school party, which will be a celebration to welcome students, families, um, teachers, school administration, and community members to a successful start to the new school year. There'll be resources, free food, and fun activities for all ages, including games, face painting, and student performances. Again, this will be on Saturday, September 13th at 11 a.m. at Jackson Reed High School. And the address is 3950 Chesapeake Street, Northwest. Also, we're really excited about this upcoming weekend to invite everyone to DCR All Night. It will be back this weekend, like I said, September 12th to 13th. bringing neighborhoods all across DC alive with music, dance, visual art, fashion, and dining. They're also introducing an app to make things easier this year, and I'll make sure I drop the link for that. Mokers have been working with 5D to address a plethora of concerns. Because I just gave a pretty lengthy presentation, I would love to hear some comments and any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you, Christian. One for an outstanding item. I CC'd you in an item, so it wasn't directed towards you, but it's a long-standing item in 5D05 at Trinidad Rec Center. We met with the mayor's office, the council member's office, DGS, and this was Anthony Black from the mayor's office regarding this item, the lack of fixing a plethora of rocks that are in the toddler section of the playground. We've been trying to get this addressed for the last year. Still no resolution here. I want to flag that and bring it up to your attention. I just emailed you about it, so we could talk about it offline. But I know you had some prepared remarks from for comments that are typically have been made of the mayor recently these last few weeks. My question, maybe you've been educated on providing feedback or how to, combat this comment. What is the mayor doing about the kidnappings happening in the city?
Okay, so Mayor Bowser, of course, is aware of the kidnappings and is, of course, as she would do anything else, working with MPD and other agencies to address this. There's nothing been said about what's specifically being done, but I can definitely follow back up with the community about that.
Okay, I'll have the same question next month. So just if we can get a well-prepared response from your team, that'll be great.
Of course.
Perfect. Commissioner McCray?
Yes, thank you. And I second that. Like, I would like to hear about where folks that are being detained or taken away and kidnapped. I'd like to know where they are going. So I look forward to those remarks. And Christian, I know there's two kind of lingering issues, and I know you responded to an email thread about one of them, and that is about the unmaintained lot behind 1520 Levis Street. I just wanted to see if there's any resolve on that. That has been an ongoing concern of residents. And we could talk offline about it, but that's one item. And then just a second one, there is another lingering item with some consistent dumping behind 1309 Orange Street Northeast. So two kind of lingering issues that need some resolve fairly quickly. So we could talk offline about it, or if you have any updates for me now, looking forward to it.
There are no updates. I forwarded all of your emails over to the appropriate agencies and are waiting for a response. But like you said, we have been emailing back and forth, so I'm well aware of the concerns, and I'm doing what I can to get them addressed.
Gotcha.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Yes. I'm joining my colleagues about what's going on with folks that are getting kidnapped. And I'm very concerned about people getting picked up at the checkpoints and not returning. If MPD is joining all the different agencies at these checkpoints and people are being apprehended and they're disappearing, then we need to know what's going on. As well as the DC National Guard reaching out to the ANCs wanting to come into our communities. I'm not sure if the mayor is aware of that, and this is bothering me. This has been bothering me ever since I saw that email. The DC National Guard wants to come into our communities. not, I can't even regurgitate the email, but is the mayor aware that this was sent out to us?
No, we were made aware of that. This is my first time hearing anything about that. So I do have a couple questions, like to understand deeper about what the contents of the email. So maybe that's something that we can speak about offline as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of the checkpoint, I think MPD covered the basis of the information that we have surrounding that. But yeah, I can circle back on that as well.
And so do we know if folks that are being apprehended or being kidnapped, are they still in the district?
Commissioner Rhodes, I don't have that information at this time.
Okay.
Thank you, Christian. One last thing, Christian. It is Hispanic Heritage Month coming up. I looked on MOLA's website and I don't see any calendar of events or anything like that. Do you know where we can get that information?
I can get you connected with someone from MOLA.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank
Were
you.
there any other questions for the mayor's office today? Okay. That's all we have. Christian, thank you so much for taking some of the smoke tonight. I know you have a very difficult job given the circumstances and who your boss is. But I know, at least I'll speak for myself. I know that you do engage us and you do work with us on what you can do. So we appreciate every effort that you do give us, given everything that your boss is probably putting you through.
Oh, I'm only here for the community. That's all I aim to do. Is just assist in any way that I can. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, Miss Andriana Lovelace, we have you here from Councilmember Zachary Parker's office. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. I hope you all had a great summer. We have a pretty lengthy update, so I'll go quick. First, to address the budget vote. So the council took its second vote on the fiscal 26 budget on July 28th. Councilmember Parker voted no on this budget, citing the countless ways it stands to harm our most vulnerable residents by cutting major social safety net programs. On the RFK deal, on Friday, August 1st, the council took its first vote on the RFK redevelopment deal. Councilmember Parker fought hard to improve the deal, focusing especially on labor protections and good paying jobs. He was proud to secure these just hours before the vote. The second vote is coming up next week on September 17th. I know many neighbors are rightfully concerned about the president's orders to surge federal enforcement in the district through National Guardsmen, ICE, and also other federal agents. The council member has been clear that this is not about crime. DC is at a historic 30-year low of crime, but rather about power and control. He's supportive of the Attorney General's lawsuit against the federal government's actions and has been speaking out about this authoritarian overreach in local government. On Thursday, August 28th, the council member held a Ward 5 town hall to share information with neighbors, answer questions, and share several ways for neighbors to get involved in our efforts to push back. And today, Councilmember Parker and other neighbors took a trip to Congress to make our message clear that the surge of federal forces on the neighborhood streets of DC is unnecessary, expensive, and dangerous. Our last update is next week is Ward 5 week, and next Saturday is Ward 5 day. So next week we have a plethora of events for you all to attend. On Monday, September 15th at 5:30, the council member will be at Woodbridge Neighborhood Library, where he'll do a kids read along for his Hispanic Heritage Month. On Tuesday at 10 a.m., he'll be holding a Kinship Care Alliance rally on the steps of the Wilson Building in celebration of Kinship Care Month. And at 6:45 that same Tuesday, we'll be having Ward 5 Day at Nats Park. All the tickets are currently claimed. If there are any more tickets that we do have, we'll send an email out to you all for unclaimed tickets. On Wednesday, From 5 to 7 p.m., we'll have a new thing called a Yappy Hour. You can bring your puppies for a fun happy hour at Other Half Brewing in Ivy City. On Thursday, we'll be having a community bike ride. We'll be meeting at Tacoma Metro Station, and explore the new MBT connections. And then we'll be riding to Metro Bar, where we'll be having another happy hour from 5 to 7 p.m. And then on Friday from 1 to 3 p.m., we'll be having free golf lessons with the National Links Trust. It'll be at Linkston Golf Course. And then on Saturday, we'll have Ward 5 Day at Turkey Thicket Recreation Center. There's a special performance by Sugar Bear and EU, and we'll have a bunch of activities for everybody. And that's all I have for today. I can answer any questions or if you have any comments.
Thank you, Ms. Lovelace. Were there any questions or comments for the council member's office? Andriana, do you have like a running calendar of events? That was a lot of stuff that you divulged right now.
Yes, I can drop them in the chat. We'll also be dropping a flyer on our newsletter this Friday.
Okay, so you're dropping some marketing for all this material.
Yes.
Got it. And just you mentioned Hispanic Heritage Month. What was the event for that?
On Monday, he'll be at Woodbridge Library doing a kids read along for Hispanic Heritage Month.
Got it. And when was the Yappy Hour again?
Yappy Hour is on Wednesday. It's at Other Half Brewing in Ivy City.
That's next Wednesday?
Yes. And it's in partnership with the animal shelter right there on New York Avenue.
Perfect. Were there any questions or comments for the council member's office? If not, I just have one.
I do have one thing.
Go ahead, Commissioner
Well,
McCrary.
kind of two things. Two things just related to kind of follow-ups from the neighborhood blitz on the 8th. Still two items that I just raised to Christian, similar things. 1309 Orange Street, right behind there, there's still some pervasive dumping or the lack of maintenance by that property owner. It's actually right now prohibiting residents from getting up and down the street, and there may be some presence of some hazardous materials. So if somebody could assist with that, and I can send you an email with all this too. And then behind 1520, 1522, behind 1520, 1522 Levis Street, that lot has still not been maintained or addressed. Department of Buildings has been out a couple of times and there still has not been resolved even since that day. So if we can get some kind of assistance with getting that lot cut and then it treated by Department of Health with the RAD Academy, that would be super helpful. But I'll send you an email after this.
Actually, I'm writing it down, so you'll see it probably an email for me in the morning.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Commissioner Rhodes?
I hit the wrong button, sorry. The happy hour at the Other Half, you said it's for can people without dogs come?
Yes, other people without dogs can come.
Okay.
It's called Yappy Hour because we want to have a happy hour with the animal shelter, so in collaboration with them. So you can bring a pet, an animal if you have it. If you don't, you can still come. We'll still be there.
Perfect. Ms. Lovelace, I saw that Councilmember Parker shared that he was with residents down at the Hill today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, at the Hart Building.
Can you name anyone from the South Side, from South Ward 5 that attended?
I can't. I wasn't privy. I'm not in charge of that.
The only reason I asked such a simple question is because I don't think he did any outreach to get folks from our end of the ward to join him on these conversations. So if you can pass the message to your boss that if he wants to do something, which is great, he's engaging community, bringing them to people that need to hear us, we would love to see some of us out there. I'm not saying us and ANCs, no, I'm talking about residents from the south side of the ward. You know, Union Market, Trinidad, Carver Langston, Ivy City, Gallaudet. And we would love to hear that he brought folks into that space as well. Because I don't think I saw anyone from our end, but I could be wrong. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I know it was talked about at the town hall. That's all the information I have on it. Again, that's not my part of the thing, but I definitely can tell him to do a better job at outreaching these mobilizations at the Hill. And I know
Perfect.
there will be one next week. So when I
Perfect.
have the information, I'll make sure I pass it along to you.
Perfect. We'll make sure we get some folks out there. Well,
Yes.
other than that, I think that's all we have for you tonight, Ms. Lovelace. We appreciate the time and looking forward to all these events in Ward 5.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Ladies, gentlemen, and familia, we are doing very well on time tonight. Let's keep up that great pace. I think I see in the chat that their Commissioner Holsendorf might be on in the Zoom. Please update your name to reflect correctly so we can update you to panelists because we do not see Commissioner Holsendorf on the Zoom. Other than that, we'll have to proceed. Let's see, going back to the agenda, we have some presentations. The first presentation is going to be for Free DC, a campaign that's been ongoing here in the city, and also an update regarding the CVS parking lot. So with that being said, Andy, can you elevate Jamie, please?
Already done?
Already? Perfect. Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. With the caveat that I have not given this presentation yet. Neighbor Carla Yoder was initially scheduled to, but she was called out of the country for work. So I am hoping to fill in with her. And I just really quickly wanted to say thank you so much for helping to promote the Wheatley School Community Organization cleanup that we have every third Saturday, almost every third Saturday of the month. So I saw that in the chat earlier. And I'm going to attempt to share, except it's not showing me which windows. So if I accidentally show you all my open tabs, I will close it and apologize and try again. Looks like I have not done this before. I apologize.
You're fine.
Here we go. Let's see if this will work. All right. Let me move things around on my tiny screen. Alrighty. So this evening I am here to give you a brief introduction to the Free DC campaign that's going on across the city. I imagine a number of folks who are listening in tonight, including commissioners, have heard about it, especially since they were a big part of the big march that just happened over this past weekend, which was very well attended. I've seen numbers of 10,000 or more. But in general, just a very quick overview, Free DC is a renewed movement to protect DC home rule and win dignity for the people of the District of Columbia. Now, it is not a new movement, although this new iteration kind of got kicked off at the beginning of this year, but really started back in the 60s with Marion Barry's Free DC campaign to win home rule. Which ultimately helped deliver home rule in 1973. In that year, we won the right to elect our own mayor and DC council, but their power has always been limited, as we are particularly seeing right now. 2 years ago, for the first time in 30 years, Congress reversed a DC law, an interference in home rule more severe than any in recent history. And we're looking at additional bills going through Congress right now. that are looking to take away even more of our autonomy, the autonomy that we do have. So Free DC in its current iteration started organizing in 2023 as Hands Off DC. And over the last 2 years, it has become clear that demanding hands off is not enough and that DC deserves to be free. So we believe that now is our moment. I'm not sure that we really were able to foresee what is going on today and over this past month, but it's clear that this movement is needed. This slide is really just showing you a little bit about what we call democratic backsliding, which is a state-led debilitation or elimination of political institutions that support a functioning democracy. We're seeing that not only in support of the district, but across the United States right now, and in other countries, of course. But the good news is that in the cases that we've seen this happening, popular movements have been key to turning that around. And that's what we are trying to build with the Free DC organizing. And so we're looking at strategies that work. These are evidence-based strategies. There is some background reading here that is recommended for folks if they are interested, why civil resistance works, a core curriculum on nonviolent struggle, from dictatorship to democracy, and others. In general, what Free DC believes works, and this is a very condensed version, is that we do not obey in advance. And that means exactly what it says. We think that whether you obey, if you obey in advance, you will not necessarily be spared. I think we are seeing that with the federal occupation of the district at this point. And we just don't obey in advance. We do not recommend that for our political leadership or for the people who are part of the organizing and a part of the movement. We do prioritize joy. If we let fear guide our actions, we are already ceding power. We take up space. We are physically vocal and visible in our communities. Some of you have been banging on pots and pans every night. We do that across Trinidad. I'm happy to share the schedule. We would love more people to come out from 8 to 8:05. I believe it's happening in Ivy City and in Carver Langston as well. And we are outspoken in our celebration of our people and of our movement. We practice solidarity. Movements that win interrupt their portrayal as dangerous. We are not dangerous. We are safe. We are keeping each other safe. And through clear and outspoken solidarity with other groups and others in this movement, we are able to continue to interrupt that portrayal. And finally, organizing across movements. When efforts to oppose authoritarian regimes have ongoing and active participation, those regimes fail. And what we're looking for is simply 3.5% of the population. So as much as we would love 100% participation across the district, we don't need that necessarily. We just need 3.5% of our population to really join in. Just to go briefly over Free DC's organizing structure, there is a leadership team and as well as an advisory council. That advisory council is volunteer. And then everything that's sort of under that tree is volunteer folks from the community. And I'll talk a little bit about the different working groups and how you can get involved in that. And so the strategy is gathering strength, responding to cycles of attack, and right now the conditions are ripe for that. So a little deeper into the structure, there are ward teams. So there is a Ward 5 team. And these ward teams are the base building engine. I've actually found it, particularly here in Trinidad, to be fruitful to be a member, if possible, of both the Ward 5 and Ward 6 team. We may want to be a part of the Ward 7 team as well because we're on the border. And obviously none of these issues stop at any of the borders of our wards. The ward teams hold community events. There are signal chats related to the ward teams. They welcome in new people. We also have Maryland and Virginia Ally teams in addition to the ward teams. There are volunteer co-chairs. And there are different meetings and substructures and subgroups and neighborhood groups that meet and chat in between there as well. And of particular interest to the commissioners, there is a constituency group of ANC commissioners in Free DC as well that we highly recommend you get hooked up to once you've gone through a Free DC orientation. The working groups are the response engine. So those work teams are the base building engine to get that 3% invested, 3.5% of folks invested. The working groups work on specific issues. So there's a Congress working group, there's a schools working group, there are constituency groups, parents and caregivers, LGBTQ+, federal workers, you name it. Or if you want to help create that affinity or ally group, you are very welcome once you're inside the Free DC organizational structure after taking an orientation. They work with allied partner organizations and meet ad hoc as well and partner with each other internally. And so the best way to get involved is to attend an orientation. And I will put a few links in the chat when I'm done, when I can get back into the chat. There is actually a Ward 5 specific orientation coming up this weekend. The good and bad news is it is at capacity. So what I would say is keep an eye out. They are always adding more orientations. There is a Ward 6 orientation. I'm not 100% sure I'm allowed to say, but it still looks like it has seats. I don't think you have to be from Ward 6 to attend it. And we didn't actually used to have ward specific ones, but thankfully the demand has gotten so high that it's been easier to parse those out. There is also an in-person orientation this coming Sunday at All Souls Church Unitarian, and I can put that link in the chat as well. It has not filled up yet either. But they are the best place to get involved in Free DC, and then those chats and those groups are opened up to you. And so again, I just wanted to mention the working groups, the constituency groups, the ward teams. There are all different ways to get involved. I just want to thank you all for showing up. I want to thank you for the questions that you've been asking during this meeting, particularly about our neighbors being kidnapped, and your willingness to explore what can help us be effective in these times. I will share again those links to orientation. There are currently, and there can always grow more, but of, I think, most interest for ANC 5D, there is a Trinidad specific chat once you've gone through orientation that is in addition to the Ward 5 chat. There's a Carver Langston chat, an Ivy City chat. And I also wanted to mention that there's neighborhood school safety organizing that is going on. Not only at Wheatley, but on Education Hill with Brown, Education Campus, and the other schools. And you can get linked in to that both through the Free DC, but I can also, if you contact me directly, it's sort of an offshoot of both Free DC and a Defend DC education. But we are encouraging safe passage for students, doing patrols around the schools and things like that, and would love more help. And I actually have an ask from the folks on Education Hill about helping to assist with carpooling. So I will put that in the chat as well. And I'm happy to attempt to answer any questions that you may have. And again, highly, highly encourage everyone who's listening in to attend an orientation and become a part of the movement and join us.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie, for all the info. If we have any questions from the public, please drop them in the Q&A function of the Zoom and we'll get to them. Are there any questions from commissioners at this time? Commissioner Hostler?
Question, comment, I guess. So I've been engaged via the Defend DC coalition meetings. I do the policy work for a denomination. I'm pastor in Ward 6, so my office and church are there. And so I get you highlighted some ways to engage kind of in this other form? Are there other ways where we engage, or is it, or you suggest primarily through that, or for those of us who are in other coalitions, just maybe a little extra texture around like the Defend DC, is that primarily for organizations, is my understanding, and other kind of useful cross connections for those of us who are both living in Ward 5, but then also working on other wards?
Yeah, so I think if you were to do a free DC orientation, you may want to try to join, both the Ward 5 chat structure, maybe the neighborhood structure, and you can also certainly join a group that has something to do with where you're working. And again, particularly because this part of the ward is on the border. I think that's really important. And as far as, is it the Defend DC that you mentioned? Is it the Defend DC Education, or is it a different? There are many coalitions with similar names.
It's like the quarterly meeting that meets at the Festival Center in Adams Morgan. So it's coordinated by DC Jobs with Justice.
Okay.
So it's like the
DC
macro
Jobs
one,
with
I think,
Justice
and
and others. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's like I think my understanding is the macro one, and then there's these like sub breakouts, like education one. There's like a labor subgroup, immigration.
Yeah, and so once you are sort of in on the free D side, you'll see all of those sort of tying together. So there are folks who are very active, who are with DC Jobs for Justice, who are with Defend DC Education or Empowered DC Education, and then they have a campaign that's specifically called Defend DC Education, and other groups. So I think it's more of a coalition, but the free DC part of it is very focused on home rule, on protecting and winning home rule, and anything that's associated with that at the congressional level and at the local government level. And so education is certainly tied to it, but that may spin off into some other, that may be a deeper conversation, what I am finding in other groups like the Defend DC Education chats.
Thank you.
Any other questions from other commissioners? Jamie, a question. If someone like myself has already attended orientations for other free DC, I think I attended one in Ward 8, but I think that was before there was like a separation by ward. No one there could connect me with the Ward 5 group, and I am in connection with the Free DC ANC coalition. How do I tap into Trinidad or one specifically for a neighborhood?
So once you're in, you should have access to the wayfinding document, which then has links to the different chats. If you're in the ANC chat, I would ask there, or see sometimes when you tap on the description, a lot of those groups have a link to the wayfinding doc there. And if not, go ahead and get in touch with me and let me see how I can help you navigate that. Perfect. Once you're in the Ward 5 group, then somebody, probably Carla, because she's the admin for the Trinidad group, will say, hey, welcome, or give you an invite for the Trinidad group. But it would start at the Ward 5 group and then go from there as far as the neighborhood.
Got it. So we don't need to attend like a Ward 5 orientation if we already been plugged in.
If you did the free DC orientation, that's it. They've just recently started sort of labeling them by ward, and I think that's to help kind of put people in the right groups, because there's been a lot more demand. So sometimes it's just a general orientation.
Got it. Perfect. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners or the public? Okay, I know there was a question in the Q&A, but that was unrelated to Free DC, but I answered it. Okay, Jamie, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that you get some more members out of tonight's meeting and moving forward. Everyone that's dedicating any time to this campaign is doing something good for the city. So I recommend everyone that has anything to do with the District of Columbia to get on top of these things, to join these groups, to join these conversations, because it really matters more than ever. So Jamie, thank
Thank
you
you.
for what you do and for the folks are doing out there here in Ward 5.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Commissioner McCray, we have a presentation that you requested today, and I believe Mr. Lanier is here. Would you like to introduce them?
Yes. Can you all hear me? Sorry. All right, perfect. So I would like to introduce the property owner for the former CVS parking lot, for the former CVS. I refer to it as the parking lot in my head, but the former CVS space, Mr. Lanier, he's agreed to join us this evening, and I appreciate the conversation and the ongoing conversation we've been having, just ensuring that, understanding that CVS left, but ensuring that the lot is clean. So what I'll do is hand the virtual mic over to him, and if you could just give us any status updates that you have on the property itself and kind of any plans that may be coming up, we would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. I'll make it short and leave it more for questions. But yes, as Commissioner McCray said, I run a company called East Bank, which some of you might have heard. We're more active on the west side of town, although in the southeast we have a development at 700 Pennsylvania, which was the former Hine Junior High School. And we're part of a partnership that owns that site, which we've owned for almost a decade. And we had nothing to do with the CVS closing. It was just as much of a surprise to us as it was many people in the community. And they closed quite a number of stores on the East Coast within a kind of 6-month period. They are still legally entitled to the site, and they have a lease on the site until early 2027. We've listened to some concerns of the community that Commissioner McCray had voiced to us, and we're able to communicate them to the CVS. We can't really actively change things ourselves. We have to work through them as an agent. They are aware that the site needed some additional attention, and my understanding is that they have been paying additional attention to the site and been keeping it clean to the extent that they are delinquent in that. The ANC knows how to contact us, and we have a property manager that both is trying to go by the site a number of times a month, as well as stay in regular communication with the CVS. They do have a leasing sign up. They're trying to sublease their space since they're not using it. There is no tenant out there right now that I know of that is about to lease the space. I'm not in negotiations with any tenant, but it is something that we want to get active again. And I want to be upfront that if we maintain control of this site, ultimately one of the reasons why we bought it is because we are an urban developer. We are a proactive community urban developer. We've worked really well with ANCs and other communities in the past, but our goal is to build buildings, and we would at one point like to build a building on the site, work with the Office of Planning, and do something that is, in line with what the city wants and what the community wants. The larger problem on the Starburst is not our site, which is in some ways an afterthought to the site that was the former Heckinger Mall site, owned by the Ashkenazi Group. And that is the one that I think, if one was to get active on that site, would really drive growth in the community and improve the submarket. I have zero information on that. It's not an easy group of people to partner with and to work with, but I would hope that at some point in the future that changes. I'll stop there and I'll open myself up to any questions.
Perfect. Commissioner McCray, did you have any questions or comments that you wanted to present?
I'll hold my questions to the end just in case anyone else has anything first.
Mr. Lanier, you mentioned that the CVS technically has a lease that's legally binding until 2027. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And just to reiterate or just to confirm, there wasn't any ability to have that lease broken or just in an effort to see the space occupied differently in the time being?
We've had conversations with the CVS, but you have to understand as well, we are a financial enterprise, and the CVS hasn't offered us anything close to the rent that they're obligated to pay in order to close out the site. I have been in conversations with them recently, to be honest, and I think they're paying a little bit more attention to it. But it's early stages, and we haven't identified a replacement for them. So the let's just say the chances that we move them out before 2027 have gotten higher in the last 60 days. But anything more definitive than that, I can't really commit to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I just have kind of one additional question, like if we did kind of a community survey just to kind of let you know what the community has a feel for that space, would you all be open to having something like that just so that you had an idea of what community members would want to see there?
Absolutely. I started in this business when I was 12. So I've watched my father and other people in our company, do things in the city for the last 35 years, and we've never done anything successfully without the support of the community. So we are very mindful of what the community cares about. It doesn't always mean that we do exactly what the community wants, but there's a balance in between. And the more we know about what the long-term goals are, the better the decisions we can make about how to manage the evolution. The last 3 years have not been kind to real estate, and things are not getting worse. So that means I would hope they're getting better, but it's not moving super fast. So if we were to build something on the site, it would not be tomorrow. It might be in the next 5 years, but it's not imminent. And we would like to do something with the site to make it active until such time that we can do something more meaningful in the neighborhood.
No, that sounds good. That sounds good. And let me ask you this, like at the point where a decision is made, whether let's say CVS wants to break their lease, or let's say somebody else is going to sublease, would you be open to kind of giving us a heads up as a commission just so that you can come back and just maybe like once it is more finalized in its final state, kind of give us a heads up on what is to come potentially there?
I can't comment definitively. Sometimes these things take a long time and you want to get a lot of commentary, and other times they move quite quickly and you can't be disruptive to the process. And I do have partners. So it really depends on the moment in time, but I am genuine when I say that I care. And to the extent that I can be communicative and collaborative, I would like to get ahead of it, which is why I'm on the call right now. Just as a side note, a week ago, I think you were involved with that, Commissioner McCray, but a church group reached out and asked if they could activate the site for near-term parking. I did. It was coincidentally in conversation with CVS just that day, so I was able to get a quick answer, and it's not something that they're opposed to, but it's a large company with all these approval processes, and I couldn't get an approval in 5 days' time to do it. But if you as the community would like to do something on an empty parking lot where you give us advance notice, I think that you'll find that provided it's of no controversy, that you will be able to coordinate with the CVS to activate the site for a short-term benefit. So we are collaborative as best we can be.
Okay, no, that sounds good. That sounds good. I wasn't in that conversation, but that's definitely good to know going forward in terms of any kind of upcoming maybe health fairs that we may have in mind.
Yep.
All right. And if I don't see any questions in the chat, does anyone else have anything?
No, that clarified a lot.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Lanier, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It sounds like, you'll have that space for you have that space and we have it in this condition and situation for a while. So we'll definitely be in touch moving forward if we have anything that we need to bring to your attention.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you again.
Yep.
Okay, moving along with tonight's agenda, we've covered the requested presentations. We're doing good on time here. We'll take 10 minutes to go over these consent calendar items. I'd like to open a discussion before we to hold a vote on these items. If you look at the agenda tonight, consent calendar items are placed on here so we can quickly vote on items that we have a general consensus of how the commission will proceed or vote on these. No decision has been made for any of these items other than being placed as a consent calendar agenda item. If you look at these right here, we're looking at the admin personal timesheet, the social media manager timesheet, the reimbursement check for banking fees that were associated for the social media manager. That's a $50 check. Business cards, we do have an estimate less than $185 for business cards for the ANC commissioners, which is already allocated into our budget. Also, a purchase for ANC 5D tent and table banner. This has been estimated with the company for at least $120. This for marketing purposes, if the ANC holds events, for us to have one, shade from the weather, and two, something to display ANC 5D on a table. Now, some of these other ones are more specific and detailed. Tree cleaning supplies, as suggested by Commissioner Roblin for the Trash and Beautification Committee. These items are totaling less than $160. Laminator and office supplies. These items are totaling less than $510. A purchase from Fast Signs to purchase banners that display more know your rights information for the neighborhoods. Each commissioner will be able to display 3 to 5 of these in their own single member district, as well as marketing material for meeting announcements and an already approved budget that we approved back in earlier late this spring for yard signs. Outside of that, I did do my research to get virtual meeting supplies, aka technology, for the ANC to host hybrid meetings. This includes OWL technology, audio technology, and storage material to actually store these items here in our ANC 5D community room. The budget there is $2,300 for the estimate based on what I was told by the OANC and their technical admin assistant. A portion of that is automatically reimbursed once we approve and purchase the material. So the OANC can reimburse us a portion of those funds. And the last two, one is amendments to a historian agreement that Mr. Montague has agreed to research where public space is available in ANC 5D, particularly with the premise of us eventually purchasing or building neighborhood signs. Some of y'all might have seen in Ward 5 neighborhood signs for Woodridge, Langdon, Michigan Park. We would love to see those for Trinidad, Ivy City, Carver, Langston, Gallaudet, and Union Market. So this amendment to the historian agreement does not change the approved budget or cost for this project, but it is directly requesting our historian to look into the land use for this potential project in the future, as well as the proposal to hire a webmaster. And after speaking with our admin assistant, they did confirm that they can deliver more time to this. So I will defer back to the commission whether we want to continue to hire a webmaster or remove it as a consent calendar item. So with that being said, I'll open a 3-minute discussion on any of these items, whether we we remove items from the consent calendar or proceed with a vote. Are there any requests to remove items or change items as presented on the consent calendar?
So my major change would be, um, I was looking over some of the work statements, and there's a lot of crossover in between the social media admin and the hiring of a webmaster. So I would just want to clarify further what needs to really be done to delineate those duties a bit more. They're just there's some crossover in between them. So I would want to clarify those. So I don't know if we want to strike those or what other thoughts are.
I think we can remove the webmaster hire from the consent calendar and leave it for an October decision.
I would only plus one of those questions. To me, also the question of how that is overseen is of interest, given there's somewhat perhaps overlap of duties. But yes, maybe October, good time we can talk about it on the side. Thanks.
Okay. The main role of the webmaster would just be to update our website, to add additional tabs to the website, specifically to discuss how committees are being held, making sure that our calendar is up to date, displaying future events for 5D. So we can detail these tasks further with further conversations, and we can hold off on the hire unless we want to proceed with the hire and follow up with the details of the role.
I will slightly amend my comment. I don't feel like we need to necessarily delay it. I have some questions, but I'm happy to move forward if someone has sufficient clarity. It sounds like you do, Commissioner. But
Commissioner Roblin, you had a...
Yeah, thank you. I think we can go ahead with it. I don't know. I thought the web person was just to create the website or fix it up, and then their task is over. So I didn't really necessarily think that would be can mix up with social media with Rob at all, but I think that would just be their job is to fix the site and that's it. And and then they're done forever, until unless we need to hire them again. That's what I was thinking.
The proposal is asking to place someone on retainer for the remainder of the year. So that would be what, 3 months, I guess, from hire date. So I would also request that we hire someone that could train our admin personnel, specifically to update the website fairly easily moving forward. And that can be obviously discussed during the interview process. Any other questions or comments?
So can we do a recap of what the changes are?
Changes.
Or what the proposal that is being mentioned is? I guess where I struggle is that the social media work statement says update and manage ANC 5D's website. So when it says it in there verbatim, that's the only thing that I have. I understand we do need somebody to update the website, understanding all of that. But I guess I just want to make it clear that if this is a kind of one and done thing, we make it clear that this is a one and done. Somebody's going to come in, update, kind of give. I just don't want there to be a mix up of a delineation of duties.
I understand. I don't think there would be an overlap since our current social media manager hasn't been able to fulfill this task specifically. So I'll note that for the minutes that our social media project manager has not fulfilled the needs for the website redesign and revamp. And that's what this need specifically is for, to accomplish this task and nothing else. Just to remain a retainer the remainder of the calendar year for any needed updates or changes that we can't manage. So I would just add that note. But well, just to stay on topic, we'll stay there. Um, are we keeping the proposal as is or moving or removing it?
Is it possible to keep it as is? I think it's okay as is, personally.
I would say we keep it as is, and when we do vote on an official hire in October, to specifically identify the role in detail as we vote on that in October. Does that sound fair, Commissioner McRae?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. The only issue I see with the consent calendar at this time is that we do not have a link to view the timesheet for the social media project manager. Does anyone have that on hand by any chance?
I apologize. I believe I just added those. That was an oversight on my part, but they should now be in there.
Commissioner McRae, can you confirm that we have that information available to the public?
Yes, I'm looking at the agenda now. Let me make sure. And I guess if it's helpful, we can say the amount. Hold tight.
Yes, if we could type that in there.
For the July and August, for the admin assistant role, that is $385. For the social media for July, it is, I don't know why this is showing up blurry on my end. It looks like, hold tight, $457. And for the social media, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and then for August, for the social media assistant, that is $455.
Okay. Is that the end of discussion for the consent calendar items? Okay, I don't hear anyone else adding comments or feedback. We'll do a roll call for this vote just to have the numbers accordingly. I move that we approve tonight's consent calendar as amended and presented to the public. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. 5D01 is vacant. 5D02.
Aye.
5D03.
Yes.
5D04.
Yes.
5D05, yes. 5D06.
Yes.
5D07. 5D08. And 5D09.
Yes.
Okay, the ayes have it. Those are passed. Our admin personnel, Andy, I would ask we convene to get some of these purchases, move forward with some of these purchases and start moving on some of these orders. It's a big one, but at least on some of these items, we now have an understanding of what our budget looks like, which we will be voting on next meeting. So we'll make sure we work with our treasurer to ensure that our budgets are measured accordingly for the incoming fiscal year. Okay, thank you, commissioners. So we're towards the end of our meeting and we're doing really good on time. So with that being said, we do have voting action items. We have a BZA matter, that's BZA 21342, being presented by Ms. Meredith Moldenhauer, including some resolutions and proposals. Ms. Moldenhauer, are you available to present?
I have just been attempting to promote her. Let's see if it works this time. Apologies, I've clicked it a couple times and it doesn't seem to be working.
1 second, let's see if it.
There we go. Okay.
Perfect.
Hi, good evening, commissioners. Meredith Moldenhauer. My client is also in the audience. I don't know if you see him, if you would obviously want to promote him as well. Mazen Atari.
I saw him earlier, but I'm not seeing his name now.
I know he was on or Fadi is also, I think,
I
what
do.
was potential.
Okay.
Okay.
Do see five. All right.
It's obviously always nice when a property owner operator is present. I want to just kind of say hello. I'm
Hey
off
everyone,
mute.
I'm on as well.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. Commissioner Rhodes, this is in your single member district. I'll allow Ms. Moldenhauer to present and you lead the conversation for this vote.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I'll share my screen quickly, and I know we have presented this before, but I will walk through it. Everybody can see the presentation. We are here for BZA case number 21342, which is an applicant for Culture Building LLC. We have a hearing coming up on September 24th for properties at 2002 and 2006 Fenwick Street Northeast. Here is an image of the property circled in or bounded in blue. You can see that there are two separate parcels, both that front on Fenwick with a small tail that comes out onto Oakey Street Northeast. Both of the properties are located in the PDR2 zone. Here is an image of both properties. 2006 Fenwick on the right image and 2002 Fenwick on the left. The site context is that obviously it's located in Ivy City neighborhood. The property 2002 Fenwick is 2 stories and about 8,000 square feet. In 2006 Fenwick is 1 story. Existing certificate of occupancy is for a bar and restaurant. The proposed change in use would permit and allow for indoor music and entertainment venue. Just to be clear, there'd be no expansion or change of the physical outdoor of the buildings. The intent here is simply for a change in use, or rather a increase in use, because this is something that Commissioner Rose and I talked about. They're not going to eliminate the bar or the restaurant. It's actually me adding the music and entertainment venue onto the existing bar and restaurant certificate of occupancy. The relief that we're here tonight to review is 2 special exception relief applications, one for the entertainment and assembly use, which requires PDR special exception PDR2 zone pursuant to subtitle U 208.1E, and a special exception for the parking relief. Special exception relief is deemed to be appropriate in the relief so long as you can satisfy the standards. Here we believe that it is harmonious with the general intent and purpose of the zoning regulations in the map, that the relief would not tend to adversely affect the use of neighboring properties, and that the proposed use complies with the conditions specified in the zoning code. The special exceptions standard, as I indicated, we satisfy it. The use is expressly permitted in the PDR2 zone. The PDR2 zone is intended for medium to high density commercial uses, including such uses as cultural and entertainment venues, which is consistent with the overall city goals, and to activate industrial areas in the city. Additionally, the proposed use will not tend to adversely affect neighboring properties. The surrounding area is industrial and mixed use. There's no specific abutting residential zones, and any of the nearby residential zones are over 2 blocks away. The use is operated 100% indoors with no outdoor music or opportunities for those outdoor music to impact or have any adverse impacts with neighbors. We believe that we would obviously comply with any additional subconditions that are required and kind of relate to those now. Any aspects about kind of impacts or objections to noise, traffic, loading, all activities occur inside the facility. The patrons would be the same as they have today. So there's no current, concerns or issues with, transit and how individuals arrive to the facility. Obviously, and no increase in, the overall usage as is currently occurring today. The property would not abut a residential use or residential zone, that there are no other facilities of this type within 1,000 feet. We have had conversations with the zoning administrator that if there are other facilities that currently do not have the proper zoning, that we do not need to seek relief from this section, because I would obviously be their obligation to get the proper certificate of occupancy for those uses. There's no external performances or amplifications. None exist today and none are proposed. And that the BZA may impose any additional conditions as it would be required. The parking relief here, given the fact that we are adding the entertainment zone, there is additional parking requirement. However, the property is 100% built out with no opportunity for additional parking. And so we believe that we satisfy the requirements for a special exception relief. The site is physically unable to accommodate parking as the existing building does occupy a majority of the structure, and that any of the openings or unoccupied areas are not large enough to locate a parking space that would comply with zoning. The property is well serviced by public transit, and we believe that the neighborhood is very walkable and can service and provide for this additional use. In addition to that, if there's additional requirements for minimum parking requirements, the proportionality of the reduction is demonstrated by the applicant. And so we believe that here, given the proximity to transit, the walkability, and the fact that there is a public parking garage 1 block away, that's all proportionate to the relief requested. And that, in the limited to the number of spaces the applicant demonstrates cannot reasonably be provided on site as proposed at the development of the application. There's no currently any parking on site. In addition, we have engaged with the community and with single member district representative Rhodes and have conversations back in July. For part of those conversations, we did follow up and kind of answer some of the questions that were presented, and obviously would be happy to answer any other questions this evening. But we thank you for your time tonight, and look forward to hopefully.
Thanks. I do have a question about what we discussed, which was the cultural entertainment venue, and would this be available for community events? As far as can you go back to that first page?
The image of the property?
No. When you were talking about the cultural entertainment venue.
Correct, and I think I can jump here. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I don't have my camera on. Unfortunately, I had to drive to the hospital. My cousin's getting admitted, so excuse me for not having it on as I'm driving, but I can hear everyone. Commissioner Rhodes, it's great to see you again. And I was out of town, but recently got back 2 weeks ago. And yes, we are ready to have our space used for community engagements. We have done so at other of the places that we have. And we would love to host even the ANC meeting. If it's being hosted in person and you guys would like to host it at our venue, that would be our pleasure. We've also offered MPD our place, our spot when needed. in order to host meetings with the different community members and the neighbors around us in order to try to work together. Most recently on installing cameras across the alley and the public street that we can connect to MPD. I know that we once met at Ivy City Smokehouse, and we also offer our venue to anything. Most of the weekends, just to be very honest with everyone here, most of our weekends are usually booked for like shows and different stuff. But during the week, our venue is empty, and we would love to activate it with the community. Whatever activity that we can find that can be a great activity to do, we're more than happy. And again, I was at the beginning of the call when you were talking to the commander. We've been trying to reach out to MPD. We want to clean the alley next door. We've hired a new trash company that's almost collecting trash every other day, plus doing as much as power washes as possible in that alley. We've been trying to keep everyone away from the corner. Literally try to work with the people on the streets as well to help us clean for a fee and generate some sort of money in order for us to maintain the cleanliness of our block. So yes, our space will, it's definitely, we would space.
To that, I know there was a complaint about folks going in your trash cans. And are you still having that issue? One, um, are you going to be able to help with community cleanups? I know you had committed to it when we had the meeting before, but all these commitments, is it a possibility that we can get them in writing?
Us and our staff would love to commit with you on your community stuff. I would be more than happy to put it in writing.
Thank
And I
you.
stand here in front of you saying, on a personal basis, you will see me. I was out of town in August when you were going back and forth with the general manager, Fatima, but I'm back in town and I'm here and I'm not leaving anytime soon. So anything that you have, we would be glad to engage in. One. Two, in regards to the trash situation, we've went back and forth to the Department of Health. We've talked to our neighbor next door, which is the kitchen. We have changed companies as well and added three pickups during our operation. So we usually are operating Thursday to Sunday, and we have five pickups for us during the week. One, two, we have one pest control service that comes on a weekly basis just for the alley. And we've contracted our trash company, DNJ, I believe, or DNW Waste, to also help in power washing the alley between every other pickup or something. That will also create additional help. But to be blunt with you, I mean, people are putting in couches. We also got in contact with the fire department. People have been putting couches on our double exit doors. They put furniture there and sit down, loitering next to it. So there's not much that we have been able to be successful with. We even put a lock that was broken, and they broke the lock and got into the trash bin. I mean, it's been like in every occurrence we try to fix the situation, something smart comes up.
Okay. Well, as long as you're trying to work it out, that's fine with me. You know, some people don't even do anything. So I just okay. We have a question from Commissioner McCullough.
Yes.
I just wanted to just real quickly just commend you for coming on as a business owner and seeming to really, really want to help in the community. I mean, because oftentimes we have folks that come in and because they are businesses, it just doesn't seem like they have as much interest in the community outside of the just being patronized. So I do want to applaud you and the relationship it seems like you and Commissioner Rhodes has. Um, a lot of us wish we had that in our community. So kudos to you. I do hope that you all can get the commitments in writing, but I don't really think that you would make these commitments so boldly to all of us here publicly
It's
without following
recorded.
through. But I definitely want to give you, I want to commend you on that. So thank you so much. And Meredith, you did a very good job with the presentation as well. So you all would get my support today.
Thank you so much. Our goal is building communities around us, and we believe in the community we're in. On top of that, when every single other tenant has been leaving the corner, we've been investing more in it. We're also buying the corner and trying to come up with a concept that will drive more foot traffic into the area. And that's the goal that we're trying to build. We're part of this, and we want to be part of the solution for anything that you suggest. And you have my word with no commitment. Thank you so much.
That's good. Thank you.
Well, artwork and murals seems to brighten everyone's faces, so maybe we can do some activities like that. But I'm ready to vote. Um, is everyone here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't figure out how to turn on my video. I'm stuck.
1 second. Do you want me to make the motion, Commissioner Rhodes, or you want to make it?
I can make it.
Okay, go ahead.
I move to approve. Um, is it Culture 2002 Fenwick and 2006 Fenwick? Do I have
Correct.
addresses right? I move to approve the zoning changes or the added zoning or amendments to the zoning for the culture establishment.
I'll second for Commissioner Rhodes. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Well, we'll do roll call for the minutes. 5D01 is vacant. 5D02,
Aye.
5D03,
Yes.
5D04,
Yes.
5D05 is a yes. 5D06,
Yes.
5D07,
Yes.
and 5D09.
Yes.
Perfect. Motion carries, and that will be approved. Ms. Moldenhauer, we'll get you that paperwork submitted later this week.
Thank you very much, commissioners. I always enjoy presenting to you and look forward to following up. Have a great night.
Y'all
Thank
have
you
a
so
great
much,
one.
everyone.
Okay. With that being said, we have some proposals and resolutions. The first one we have here being presented by Commissioner Roblin, condemning the federal overreach at this time. Commissioner, are you ready to speak on this resolution?
Yes, thank you so much. So this resolution is called a resolution condemning federal overreach in the District of Columbia policing and demanding the immediate return of local funds. So to sum it up, basically it's saying that we condemn the federal takeover of MPD and the National Guard for purposes unrelated to an actual emergency, and we demand their immediate removal. This is because Trump said that the reason for it was crime, but our crime is actually at a 30-year low. So we don't, and so then it says we urge Congress to reject any extension of the overreach, the what do you call it, the occupation beyond 30 days, and we ask them to pass legislation to eliminate federal control over local police and to strengthen DC self-governance. And we ask that it's asking that Congress immediately restore the $1 billion that they took away from us, and heads of all federal agencies whose officers are deployed in the district regarding the mission, rules of engagement, officer identifiability, arrest criteria, geographic scope, and anticipated duration of the federal control order. That's the summary of the resolution.
This resolution was drafted with I'm forgetting the name right now. Remind me the name, commissioners, of the caucus, home rule caucus.
Yeah, I'm
And
sorry. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, this resolution came from the Home Rule Caucus. There's about 75 commissioners. Sorry, I forgot to say this. There's about 75 commissioners in the Home Rule Caucus, and the leader of it is Miguel Trinidad Duramo. He's in Ward 1, but he drafted, I think he was the person that wrote this resolution. Yeah, he gets the credit.
perfect. Would you like to make the motion, Commissioner?
Yeah, I motion that we pass this resolution condemning federal overreach and demanding the return of our local funds, the $1 billion.
Can we get a second for Commissioner Roblin?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. Any needed discussion?
Discussion.
Go ahead.
Is this resolution just for the overreach, or is this caucus helping with to protect home rule? Are they working to protect home rule, or this is just for the okay.
Well, the resolution is just condemning this resolution. They have a second resolution as well, which I'll bring up later. But this resolution is just for condemning the federal overreach and demanding the immediate return of the local funds. But the Home Rule Caucus is doing other activities. Yeah, they have not been real active as of yet. But like, for instance, they marched in the parade. All DC. Yeah, we
Yeah.
are DC. So they're doing other things as well. And I think they're going to Congress. They have a couple days where they're going to lobby in Congress and they do other things as well. Yeah, I totally recommend joining them too.
Well,
They were
thank
just here on Monday, yesterday.
you. Okay.
Yeah, introduce you.
Well, yeah, you can bring them here and have them do a presentation, but we just need more stronger activities to protect home rule, because it seemed like that's being um, under siege as well. But okay, thanks for answering my questions, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay, discussion's over. We'll do a roll call for this vote. 5D01, 5D02,
Yes.
5D03,
Yes.
5D04,
Yes.
5D05 is a yes, 5D06,
Yes.
5D07,
Yes.
5D08, and
Yeah.
5D09.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes, and that one is okay to go. So we'll let Commissioner Trinidad know that he got this passed in 5D. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, we have a proposal by Commissioner McCray. Do we have the construction debris mitigation proposal, Commissioner?
I completely forgot to attach that one. So not this time, October for sure.
Okay.
October. So we'll move.
Oh.
I forgot to remove that one.
Okay, so we'll move that to in October.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay. So the next item that we have, still doing good on time, we have a resolution in opposition to a PUD.
Yes. So in collaboration with ANC 5C, where this is a zoning commission case, I'm presenting a resolution opposing zoning commission case 2411 and calling for reduced industrial uses to protect Ivy City and other overburdened New York Avenue communities. I was in conversation with one of the ANC commissioners in ANC 5C recently. So he was the major driver behind this resolution, but just some high level takeaways from this, understanding that this is not my area, and I'm gonna lean on Commissioner Rhodes for this a lot, because this is not my area, but I was just in a conversation. So I know August was our recess, so I helped just kind of push some stuff forward. But just understanding some key points from this were just Ivy City is a historic Black community with over 50% of the district's industrial uses. So urging the Office of Planning to adhere to the small area plan and the New York Avenue plan is a critical driver to some of the mishaps that have happened with development there. So the overarching part is resolved. ANC 5D urges the Zoning Commission to reject Zoning Commission case 2411 and deny Douglas Development the opportunity to continue overburdening communities such as historic Ivy City and Ward 5 with 5 additional acres of industrial use land. And further resolved, ANC 5D urges the Office of Planning to, 1, join ANC 5D in opposing Zoning Commission case 2411, given its obvious conflicts with the Office of Planning's own New York Avenue Vision Framework, and 2, to apply to the Zoning Commission for a text amendment to create a mixed industrial zone, actuating the FLUM category mix of Amendment 9815 and allowing minimal industrial concurrence with mixed-use development. But the moral of this is trying to ensure that the Zoning Commission really does adhere to ANC 5C, who is going to oppose this case, as well as us, and push that forward to protect that area. So I'll pause just to see if there's any questions. And Commissioner Rhodes, feel free, all yours, if you have anything.
Yeah, the reason for the resolution is because the Office of Planning, we participated. The community in Ivy City and in Brentwood participated with the Office of Planning for the New York Avenue Vision Framework. We all know that in the mayor's plan, there needs to be more housing. So what's happening is Douglas Development is proposing to make this big area by where Montana, the Montana Circle is, make it a big warehouse, like 11 acres or something like that. But unless we're going to swap out industrial polluters in Ivy City, which we all know that half of the community is industrial, and a lot of the industries are in Ivy City and Brentwood. Unless they're going to put these industrial polluters in these spaces, there's no need for them to create more industrial uses. So we're in solidarity with the Commission of 5C to make sure that whatever happens on New York Avenue as far as housing or just taking some of the industrial sites from Brentwood and Ivy City and putting them in somewhere where there's no residents. And that's one of our biggest fears, is that this is going to create more industrial uses, further overburden Ivy City as well as Brentwood, and also with the housing that's slated to come and at New York Avenue. First of all, we oppose the 10 stories that the Office of Planning is trying to put there, which will pretty much swallow Ivy City. Not only that, but there will be residential next to these industrial uses, which is an environmental injustice. So that's just a little bit of background in why we are in solidarity. And furthermore, we should be more in solidarity with the ANCs that butts our ANCs because we all share the same issues. We would like 5C to support 5D and vice versa. So with this, uh, we just want everyone's support. Thanks,
Okay.
Commissioner, for handling that.
No problem, no problem. It all started at Metro Bar.
Okay, with that being said, Commissioner McCray, would you like to place a motion on the floor?
Yes, so I'm going to place two motions on the floor. So I'm going to place a motion to pass the resolution for the opposition resolution opposing zoning commission case 2411. And then I'm going to place a second motion on the floor to authorize Commissioner Rhodes to submit a party status application for our opposition to zoning commission case 2411. So to do the resolution, two, for the party status.
Okay, go ahead and place the first motion.
All right, so the first motion on the floor is I move to pass the resolution opposing zoning commission case 2411.
Can we get a second for Commissioner McCray?
Second.
Second.
Okay, 5D, needed discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. 5D01 is vacant. 5D02?
Yes.
5D03?
Yes.
5D04?
Yeah.
Yes? Was that a yes?
Yes, with yes.
Okay, sorry, I know you're sick. I'm apologize. 5D05 is a yes. 5D06?
Yes.
5D07?
Yes.
5D08? And 5D09?
Yes.
Perfect. Motion carries. That part of the resolution passes. Place another motion on the floor for the party status.
Yes, so I move that we authorize Commissioner Rhodes to submit a party status application for our opposition to zoning commission case 2411.
Okay, can we get a second for Commissioner McCray?
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
3, 4. Do we have an aye, Commissioner Hosler, or nay?
Yes.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, motion carries on that one. The ayes have it. Thank you, Commissioner McCray. Okay, here we have one final resolution for from Commissioner Roblin, identifiability of federal agents. Would you like to discuss?
Yeah, so this commission also from Commissioner Duramo at the Home Rule caucus. So to sum it up, it says our commission, the generalization is our commission calls upon the elected officials of DC to communicate with their federal contacts to develop clear policies on identifiability and the use of face coverings for federal personnel while they're engaged in enforcement activities. We urge the Attorney General to publicize information about federal agencies' policies on the identifiability of their personnel and let us clearly know what the appropriate channels are for reporting violations. Other states have been trying to restrict the use of face coverings and anonymous uniforms by federal and local personnel, and we ask that the DC Council of the and we ask that the Council of DC consider taking similar measures. We call upon DC's federal representatives to work to advance federal legislative remedies, such as the Visible Act, which has been recently introduced in the Senate regarding requiring immigration enforcement and other officers to display their agency name and either their surname or their badge number during public facing enforcement activities, and would prohibit such officers from wearing non-medical face coverings except in limited circumstances. And our commission also, and this is also that our commission's affirming its commitment to implementing community-based models of policing that foster respect and trust between law enforcement and policed populations. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Question on this, Commissioner. Being that federal officers are not complying with the standards of the District of Columbia's community policing, do we expect this kind of resolution to have any effect on what we're seeing right now?
I don't know. I mean, I can only guess, and I guess that it's better than doing nothing about it. It's probably a drop in the water, but we're also going to bring the resolutions to Congress as well, and to the committee that has the Visible Act up, saying that, our 5D, is for this strongly. So I think that it'll help, but I mean, it's not so easy, in my opinion, to get this done. It's not easy at all. So
It's a
we
it's a
can hope.
general question. It's a general question, especially coming from a point where when we see officers disguise their faces or hide their faces, they typically have exemptions. Like they have these. They eventually gain the ability to do so lawfully. But either way, we appreciate the commissioners that came together to address these concerns and put it on paper at least, so we have receipts that we could say yes, these were addressed. Whether they were addressed properly, that's another conversation, but at least they were addressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. Any other commissioners with questions or comments? If not, we'll go straight into a vote. Okay. Commissioner Roblin, would you like to place a motion on the floor? I move.
Yeah, I move to support regarding the identifiability of federal agents and officers operating in the District of Columbia resolution.
Okay, can we get a second for Commissioner Roblin?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. We'll go straight into a vote. 5D01 is vacant. 5D02.
Yes.
5D03.
Yes.
5D04.
Yes.
5D05 is a yes. 5D06.
Yes.
5D07. 5D08. And 5D09.
Yes.
Okay, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Roblin, for putting that on the floor. Okay, with that being said, if you look at our agenda, we have completed tonight's meeting early, a word we rarely get to use for our meetings. I know they're very bureaucratic, very full of a lot of either presentations on matters, but this is what happens after we take recess for a month. So for the public to be aware, we have 2 public meetings remaining this year for the month of October and the month of November. December, we are on recess. So in the month of October, expect us to have some folks presenting on matters again, and us discussing the approval of our budget for the next fiscal year. With that being said, are there any comments, questions, or anything else that ANC commissioners would like to share before we open up to the public for open discussion?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. Do you need me to do the minutes?
I'm sorry?
Do you need me to do the minutes? Because I wasn't here early in the meeting when we did the minutes. Do you need me to do that
Oh,
now?
no, I got those approved.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Any other items, commissioners?
I actually have one item that I forgot about until just now. It's just a reprogramming of some of the funds to cover some of those deficits. So just with a quick scan, I'm going to request that we reprogram $9,000 from grant to personnel to cover the overage there.
For this fiscal year?
For this fiscal
Okay.
year, for fiscal year 2025. So $9,000 in the budgeted amount would move from that grants line item to cover the personnel, and that would increase the personnel budget by $9,000 to cover us through the end of this fiscal year.
Okay. I move that we approve the amendment to the budget to reflect such. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell.
It was Rhodes.
Oh, Rhodes, my bad. I'm sorry, Commissioner. Commissioner Rhodes. Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, that motion carries. Anything else, commissioners, before we convene tonight's meeting? If there's anyone still in the meeting, if you have any direct questions to the ANC, feel free to use the raise your hand function and we'll let you speak. Are there any questions in the Q&A? Don't see anything. Rachel, you have a question?
Hey, I was just wondering, I noticed that Lewis Grove Park on the corner of Mount Olivet and West Virginia was locked up, and I was just wondering if it was going to be reopened or what was going on with that.
Locked up, what do you mean by locked up? They lock it, the housing authority locks it at night and opens it up during the day. So
It
was it
hasn't,
locked
it,
all day?
yeah.
Okay. I'll check with Lieutenant Bentley with the DC Housing Authority Police to find out why that was. Was that just today or is it, I know it was open yesterday.
I noticed it today, and then another neighbor noticed it like a week or two ago as well. So it seems to be kind of intermittent.
Okay. Well, we do have some folks that are making encampments on the playground. So that
Uh-huh.
could be the reason. I'm not sure, but I will check with Lieutenant Bentley.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rhodes.
Commissioner Rhodes, can you confirm whether they're forgetting to open it or they're just trying to be preventive on some of those encampments?
That I'm not sure. When I brought that to their attention before, they told me no, it's being opened every day. So it might be an oversight.
Yeah, because I know sometimes they do forget or they're late.
Or
So,
something is going on and they can't make it, but I'll check with Lieutenant Bentley to find out what's going on with that. But
okay.
thanks for
Thank you.
The question.
Perfect. Okay, well, it is 9:44 p.m. I am going to ask that we convene tonight's meeting. I move that we convene tonight's meeting at 9:44 p.m. adjourn as is. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed, say nay. Who said it? Who said nay? Oh, that was a laugh. Okay. And any abstentions? None. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight and looking forward to seeing y'all next month. Stay safe and anything else, feel free to reach out.
Good night.